The Next Good Day, a written piece by me. Awakening to the bedroom door ajar, welcomed by the sandy sunrise hope, a fragile figure, dainty, quaint, slipped through the door and into the hall, the events from the night before erased. Not even an echo or a shadow. The stairs cascaded to the floor below, the noise they made monotone, but fear causes auditory hallucinations. A squeak sounds like a siren. The figure peeked around the doorframe, eyeing the monstrous man in front. He's tall, stocky, naturally tanned. His hair is slicked back with gel, but resembles an oily puddle. The sheer sight brought shivers, and when he turned, the figure was frozen. Not even that rare ember warmth in his eyes could melt away the fear. The child was oddly calmed by the more commonly seen rage, the flames that would engulf his eyes. "You're up," he smiled, making the young child shrink, never feeling as uncomfortable as that moment. "Sit down, I made you breakfast." He ushered her to the dining room, unaware of her spiraling, suspicious mind. It was as if she was in Wonderland as she climbed onto the chair, everything getting bigger and her growing smaller. The clatter of the plate caused her to flinch, but instead of shards being scattered all around the room, it sat invitingly in front of her. The aroma was mouth-watering, addicting. It was a hunter catching a naive deer, but she took the bait nonetheless. She always secretly preferred his cooking over Mum's. He never cooked, and she would never dare ask him to. As the food was suctioned down her throat, that false sense of security tasting so delectable, she spoke up. "Where's Mum?" The atmosphere suddenly turned heavy. The young girl's father stopped eating and was looking down at her. What had she done? What had she said? She should have stayed quiet. The two were eyeing each other. She cautiously watched the embers flicker and grow ever so slightly. But as he took a breath, blowing the flicker away, she sighed. Her whole body was shaking. "Hey, why don't you wake your brother up? I have a nice surprise for the both of you." She knew the routine by now, showered with gifts and treats and surprises as a form of an apology. These apologies were the closest thing to love and affection she had ever experienced. Begrudgingly, she nodded her head and hopped off the chair, following his orders like a soldier in the front line. The day truly was a surprise. The young girl hadn't seen such joy exploding from her brother. Or at least, if she had, she couldn't remember it happening. As always, her mum had disappeared for the day. Was it wrong to leave defenseless children with such a villain, even if it meant for your safety? The little girl thought it was fine. She understood. She shouldn't have, but she did. She also understood this wouldn't last. Eventually, that pit inside her father would ignite again, and the house would be filled with the screams and shouts that so effortlessly helped her get to sleep at night. Even so, she embraced this feeling of happiness. In some sick and twisted way, when these special days of apologies came rolling around, her dad became one of her most favourite people in the whole world. Perhaps that was the point. Like a widow spider, he would trap her in his web. But she was too young to care. Her dad was still her dad, and she still had to love him. Right? She just had to prepare for the next good day.